So Larry, a day after we have the webinar on Middle East Part 3 with special guest Greg Roman from the Middle East Forum, who did a great job really giving the details of the last 24 hours before this attack on Friday the 13th of June 2025. He really summed up what was going on. Probably did not have any idea the next day we were going to be completely into this war.
Actually, it was less than a day after
the webinar.
I know.
So we encourage you to check out the webinar. I just released it on YouTube. It will be out to our newsletter and our Substack as well.
Yeah, I would interject that Greg Roman is one of the executives within the Middle East Forum.
Yes.
Which is headquartered in Philadelphia and was founded by Daniel Pipes. So it's a well-known institution, and we're quite happy and proud that Greg appeared with us on the webinar. Yes. We had a record turnout of participants, so it was really and it was timely.
Very timely, and he did an excellent job. So I encourage you to check out that webinar. And our next, we won't have one in July, but we will have one in August. Yeah. So without further ado, thank you. Welcome back to Peace Through Strength podcast, brought to you by the American Security Council Foundation. I'm your host, Joy Votrobek, and with me is senior analyst Laurence Sanford.
Nice to be here, Joy.
Thank you, Larry. That being said, this obviously took some time to plan. It was well executed. They went right after nuclear sites, facilities.
Israel went right after the Iranian nuclear sites, and it was interesting that they did it on day 61 after Trump's 60-day notice that they better make a deal or else. And I guess the else was Israel attacking Iran. What is surprising to me is the ability to just take out all the air defenses and all the airplanes of Iran. All the military of Iran is basically a sitting duck.
Well, I was thinking about this. Wasn't it several months ago that they did take out one air defense? So they already had some inroads to Iran prior to this.
But they've done it all over the whole country.
And my understanding is that they had Mossad already planted in different parts of the country as well. So they also went after the higher elites, the guards,
they had the
nuclear scientists.
They had the addresses of where they live. I mean, I guess it's an amazing feat for a nation of 10 million to have this ability against a nation of 90 million, which is Iran. But I guess when you're in fear of your life, it helps focus. I think there's some old saying about it. It's amazing how the prospect of death focuses the mind. So the Israelis have really demonstrated a real focus on self-preservation. So
yes. And rightly so. I mean, they've got a nuclear Iran next door who wants to wipe them off the face of the earth.
Yeah. And as we all know, they say death to America and death to Israel. And
well, of course, Iran has blamed the U.S. that this was not possible without our help, and probably rightly so. We've sent them quite a bit of military and military equipment.
Yes. So.
And intel.
Time will tell, as they always say, as to what's going to happen down the road. I mean, you cannot achieve total victory without troops on the ground, and everybody is saying that that's not going to happen. So I'm not so sure what the off-ramp is going to be. Is Israel just going to continue to pound away? Are they going to start taking out the oil?
I think they already started to hit some strikes on some oil refineries.
Yeah.
And that was after Iran's retaliation, because Iran did not hold back from civilian populated areas.
So what is the end game? Do you have any idea how this
Well, they certainly want to stop the nuclear enrichment, no doubt. Yeah. And if they're going to dismantle that and keep it dismantled, they went after those who were in charge. Yeah. And now it looks like they're going after the oil.
Yeah, but have they been able to really eliminate all the...
That I don't know. Yeah. We're going to have to wait and see. I think the International Atomic Energy Commission stated that they definitely went after the one, Natanz, I want to say, and I have a map here.
Yeah.
And Tehran has one as well. But we know at least there was 5 different sites. We don't know if there's other secretive sites as well.
And some of them are underground or under mountains. And so have the airstrikes been effective in really
I guess that will be yet to be seen.
Yeah. And that's when we hear talk of the United States using their big bombers and the big bombs. So.
Well, as we discussed with the nuclear scientist that we had on a podcast, I think 6 months, maybe even a year ago, he thought then that they had the capability of this, but also thought that the United States may be the only ones to be able to take out a bunker that deep in the mountain.
Yeah. So the big question is, how far more will the U.S. get engaged, and will China get engaged? Would you?
So that was a question on the webinar: was will China or Russia get engaged and help Iran? And so I printed this off. I mean, we are just kind of going off events as they come at us, so we're just supposing and kind of going off of what we hear, but there's several different sites that have said, and this is from the Epoch Times, that yes, a cargo flight from China was diverted toward Iran. They turned off their transponder over Turkmenistan, so we can't confirm or deny that yes, they have arrived. I would guess if they did, they're trying to assist Iran because they get oil from Iran. So
90% of Iran's exports go to China, so China
has a good
gets
investment.
Millions of barrels of oil from Iran. So they depend upon Iran for a significant portion of their oil supply. So they're interested in making sure it happens too. And what happens if somebody decides to close the Straits of Hormuz, where all the oil goes through?
Well, on our webinar, Mr. Roman actually brought up that point, that when they did a simulation, that China, in the simulation, sent a ship out to the Straits of Hormuz because they want to keep their oil.
Yeah, so
we'll see, how things play out. We've got, as we've mentioned before, we've got our Air Force that shares a base with Qatar's Air Force as well, which is right across from Iran. And then we've got Bahrain, where our Navy is stationed as...
And we have lots of resources within range of the Iranians. So there is a concern if they attack American bases that the whole thing will change too.
And then that was one of the warning signs that Greg brought up, and we saw coming just 24 hours before all of this started, is to warn our people that need to leave, that were not necessary personnel to get off the bases.
And then the other question is Russia going to get involved?
That's a good question. And I was also trying to look that up because I saw something that said Russia volunteered to mediate between Israel and Iran to end this. But this is how we got into this in the first place, is Iran was not willing to decommission their nuclear.
Yeah, and Russia is really Iran's.
Right, and Iran has given them plenty of drones against the Ukraine war, so
who knows?
Russia and China have a stake in it. It will be yet to be seen how far that goes and how far the U.S. plays into this as well.
But it all goes back to the philosophy that we have here at American Security Council, namely peace through strength. If you don't have the big stick that works, you're in deep danger of being succumbed by guys who don't like you.
On that note, I guess before we sign off here, let's talk about Netanyahu's plea to the people of Iran, saying we're not having war against you. It's against the nuclear, the head Ayatollah, right? That's happening. But he was encouraging them to stand up against their government, and we've talked about this before. And he's trying to give them a chance to, I think, really.
It's going to be hard for the civilian population to have a successful revolution. It's really probably going to have to come from the military.
Well, I think he also tried to appeal to their military as well.
The military has to assert control over the mullahs.
So thank you again, Larry.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you to our listeners. Check back with us soon as we have more updates on Israel-Iran. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Substack, as well as our YouTube and Rumble channels. Thank you.